Oh, good afternoon, Tony. God, that's some rain day, it must. Been handsome. All this here coming down. It's drying up a bit now, so that'll do good. Do good for everybody. I hope everybody's all right and happy enough. And well, it's gotten a bit warmer now, I think, don't you? This afternoon, gonna be all right. Now, I got a couple here today. I'm going to do another one by Liz Harmon today. Little story by Liz Harmon. This is all about Valentine's Day. Me and Alfred went into town last week to look for a special card from my old cousin Ivy. It was her 90th birthday. Well, we had a hard job finding one. The racks were all stacked with hundreds of Valentine's cards. Piles of toys, balloons, teddy bears, and all with red hearts on them were stuck all over the place. I said to Alfred, what a pile of old foolishness. Someone must have making a ton of money out of all this. We ended up coming back to Newland and getting one over Barron's pepper shop. Next day, our young granddaughter come in to see us. She wasn't looking all that happy. What's the matter, my queen? I asked her. You're looking so miserable. It's Valentine's Day coming up, Gran. She said I'm worried that I wouldn't have any Valentines. I shouldn't worry none about that, I said. I never had a Valentine's card in my life. We didn't go in for such things. In any case, it was wartime when we was young, and there wasn't no pepper for things like Valentine's cards. In any case, I know that your granddad was one for me and would have been a waste of time sending any. But it's different now, she said. How can I face all my friends if I don't have any Valentines? I made her a cup of coffee. Yes, me and Alfred had gone modern now, and we'd keep a jar in the spence for the children. And after she'd eaten 2 pieces of cake, at least she hadn't lost her appetite, she went home. Alfred and me then made a plan. You go into presents to once, I told him, and get the smartest Valentine's card that you can find. Then we'll send it to her anonymously. He grumbled a bit, saying, he would feel like a plumb fool buying a Valentine card at his age. But I said, don't worry about that. The dear child is going to have a Valentine, dear of her. So off he went, and he come back with the prettiest card you ever saw. And the verse inside read, if these flowers are hearts entwined, will you be my Valentine? I never thought Alfred would have such good taste. I wrote it out in block letters saying, guess who, inside. And Alfred went and posted it off. Then we waited. But I tell you, on Valentine's Day, I had the surprise of my life. Alfred had bought me the first Valentine I'd ever had in my life. And it said on the front, to my darling wife on Valentine's Day. And there was a lovely picture of roses, lilies, apple blossom and violets. And the words inside were beautiful. I put it in pride of place upon the mantelshelf. I shall never, in all my born days, have thought Alfred would have done such a thing. It shows that you can't be too old for a romance. I made some lovely dinner, I'll tell you that day. Next day, the grandchild coming again seemed to be on top of the world. Well, I said, how did he get on? Did he have any Valentines? After all that even the other day when you was worried about not getting any. I had loads, Gran, she said. 8 emails and scores of texts, and I'm going to have a rave with Stephen next Friday and go McDonald's with William on Sunday. Didn't you have any proper Valentine's cards? I asked her. Oh, a couple, she said. One of them was all right, quite cool, in fact, but the other one was the pits. I had no idea at all who could have sent it. It was all covered in these really horrible red roses and violets, and the soppy words inside were absolutely gruesome. I wouldn't dare show it anyone. They'd die laughing. Then she noticed my card from Alfred on the mantelshelf. Grandad, she said, do you actually send a thing like that to Granny? How could you? That's even worse than the one I had. So then, like a whirlwind, she was gone. I looked at Alfred and he looked at me, and I tell you, we felt bran flat. I suppose we had better burn the card, said Alfred. Don't you dare, I said. That there card is the handsomest thing I've ever had in my life, and it's going to stay up there on the mantelshelf till it falls to pieces. I did mean what the card said. Sarah Ann, said he, I love you when you was a maid, but I love you 100 times more now, and to me you'll always look just the same. Well, for Alfred, that was some speech. He looked real bashful and his face was like a blood pit. I felt so full of love for him that I could have cried. I said, I hope one day the dear child will find as good a man to love as her grandad. She couldn't do no better. Now shall I make us a cup of tea and a bit of heavy cake, and we'll sit down comfortable by the fire? I'm so glad, mind you, that in our time there wasn't no emails or texts. There isn't no romance in they, and I don't think we need bother to send no anonymous cards next year, do you? Doing a little poem here now by David Prowse as well. All right. This one's called Big John. Where have all the cowboys gone? How barren lies the trail, where tin-starred sheriffs kept the peace by an old adobe jail. And grizzly men sat whittling sticks on sultry afternoons, while tin-horn gamblers shuffled decks in whiskey-stained saloons. I miss the sound of jingling spurs through prairie grass and sage, and the slapping creak of harness on the Moonday Fargo stage. I can lose the songs of dance hall girls, and offer no rebuke, but I'm lonesome as the prairie roofs without my friend the Duke. John Wayne, the man with whom I rose from Nome to Abilene, and not a day do I regret for all those miles between. Through desert, drought, and river swell I galloped at his side. I breathed his air, I spoke his words, and never missed a stride. He was a land of open range and nights beneath the stars, the west of cows and cattle drives, of chaparral and scars, where Sunday morning preacher men in Sunday morning sleeves exhorted congregations into bringing in the sheaves. Big John's belief was less refined, a black and white affair. To wait around for Judgment Day was more than he could bear. So that hackled neck would rise, he'd glance towards the sky, and all but life's most arrant fools would keep their powder dry. He was one-eyed Rooster Cockburn and the fearsome Ethan Kane. He was Sergeant Nathan Brittles with an aged soldier's pain. He was a ponderous and petulant and glorious and brave, and the best of good companions from the cradle to the grave. He cast a giant's shadow, and he lived a giant's part, in attitude and posture, and the strength within his heart. His imitators came and went like clouds across the moon, but no one rode a saddle like the Iowa dragoon. And when the final showdown loomed, he met it face to face, with all the pride and dignity the years had put in place. The shooter saw him breathe his last upon a barroom floor, and we knew it wasn't acting or pretending anymore. And then the silence, stretching back towards the setting sun, through Colorado canyons where the Mezzi rivers run, across Nevada deserts and the rolling Kansas plains, on every scattered acre where bridal Caris reigns. I'm a fool to grieve for celluloid and images of old, but even old prospectors never lost the dreams of gold. To ask me where the cowboys went, and I lay it on the line, they've vamoosed when we lost Big John in the year of 79. Thank you very much.